On the edge of a continent, a timeless battle rages, wind and water against sand and stone. Here, the forces of nature are in constant motion, shaping and reshaping the boundary between land and sea. Every wave that crashes, every gust of wind that howls, is part of an ancient struggle that has played out for millennia. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a slender chain of barrier islands, absorbs the Atlantic's power, but the ocean is a patient, relentless force. These islands are both shield and sacrifice, taking the brunt of storms and tides to protect the mainland. Yet, with each passing year, the ocean inches closer, undeterred by human efforts to hold it back. People have built homes on stilts, defying nature, but the sea is now reclaiming what was borrowed. Generations have dreamed of living by the water, but the reality is far more precarious than it seems. The ocean's reach is long, and its memory is even longer. The line between land and sea is retreating before our eyes. Backyards become surf zones, and oceanfront dreams turn perilous. What was once a safe haven is now a front line, where the sand beneath our feet can vanish overnight. In February 2026, this slow-motion drama became a spectacle. Homes, filled with memories, were swallowed by the waves. The collapse was sudden, but the warning signs had been there for years. Shifting dunes, eroding beaches, and the relentless advance of the surf. The collapse of these houses is a humbling reminder. Nature dictates the terms here. No matter how strong our foundations, the ocean's will is stronger. The debris left behind is more than wood and nails. It's a testament to the limits of human control. Our structures are temporary guests on a coastline in constant flux. Each house that stands alone on the shrinking sand is a symbol of both resilience and vulnerability, a reminder that permanence is an illusion here. This isn't just about lost property. It's a story of a changing planet, where natural cycles and human pressures accelerate the pace. Rising seas and stronger storms, fueled by climate change, are rewriting the rules of coastal living, forcing communities to confront an uncertain future. The Outer Banks is a warning for coastal communities worldwide. What happens here is a glimpse of what's to come elsewhere, a call to rethink how and where we build, and how we adapt to a world in flux. As homes vanish into the Atlantic, we witness a preview of a future where adaptation is our only option. The ocean's relentless claim is a story of loss, resilience, and the urgent need to respect the power of nature. February 2026 brought a shock, not a hurricane, but a bomb cyclone, a rare winter tempest that battered the North Carolina coast. Heavy snow and hurricane-force winds lingered for days, not hours, pounding the shoreline with monstrous surf. Dunes already weakened were clawed away wave by wave, hour after relentless hour. 4 unoccupied houses, stripped of their sandy foundations, collapsed into the frigid ocean. For the first time, homes were lost during a snowstorm, proving the threat is now year-round. Vacation spots became debris in the violent, snow-flecked surf. 31 homes have been lost since 2020, a staggering escalation. The Outer Banks' vulnerability is no longer seasonal. The ocean's appetite is constant. Any powerful storm in any season can trigger catastrophe. The Outer Banks are not solid ground. They're barrier islands, giant sandbars shaped by waves and wind. Stretching for miles along the North Carolina coast, these slender strips of land are constantly being sculpted by the forces of nature. From above, they look like a delicate ribbon, barely holding back the power of the Atlantic Ocean. Their existence depends on constant motion. They're nature's buffer, but also inherently unstable. Every tide, every gust of wind, and every storm leaves its mark, shifting the sand and reshaping the coastline. These islands absorb the ocean's fury, protecting the mainland, but they pay a heavy price for it. Building here is precarious. Sand is always shifting, carried by currents in a river of sediment. The ground beneath your feet is never truly stable, and what seems permanent one year can vanish the next. The landscape is in a state of perpetual motion, shaped by forces far beyond our control. When erosion outpaces replenishment, the shoreline retreats, especially on these narrow islands. Each storm can take away more sand than it brings back, leaving the land thinner and more vulnerable. Over time, entire stretches of beach can disappear, changing the map itself. Rising sea levels worsen the problem. Higher tides and storm surges push water further inland, accelerating erosion. What was once dry land can quickly become part of the sea, as the ocean claims more territory with each passing year. The threat is growing, and the pace of change is quickening. Houses weren't always unwisely built. The landscape itself refuses to stay still. Generations ago, people built with hope, not knowing how quickly the sands would shift beneath them. Today, even the most carefully placed homes can find themselves at risk as the shoreline moves. Now, homes are squeezed between a rising ocean and a retreating shore, their protective sand washed away. Foundations are exposed, and what was once a safe distance from the water can become dangerously close overnight. The struggle to hold on is visible in every battered structure. This is a clash between our desire for permanence and a world defined by change. We build, hoping to tame the land, but the islands remind us that nature always has the final say. The contrast between human ambition and the relentless movement of sand is stark and unyielding. The Outer Banks has always been a place on the move. For centuries, these islands have shifted, grown, and shrunk, shaped by storms and tides. Their story is one of constant adaptation, both for the land and the people who call it home. Here, the only constant is transformation. The Outer Banks are a living testament to the power of nature and the resilience required to live on the edge of change. The recent collapses are just the latest in a long, accelerating story of retreat on the Outer Banks. Since 2020, home losses have surged. What was once rare is now disturbingly routine. Storms, even unnamed ones, have claimed multiple homes in a single day. The ocean isn't nibbling, it's taking devastating bites. The official tally of 31 collapsed homes doesn't capture the full picture. Some were demolished preemptively to control debris. Each lost home is a punctuation mark in a larger story of environmental change. What was gradual erosion is now rapid, catastrophic loss. The dream of oceanfront living has become a recurring nightmare for many. The splintered debris on the beaches is a stark record of rising tides and intensifying storms. The Outer Banks' precarious situation is now undeniable. The Outer Banks' destruction is driven by a deadly combination: powerful storms and relentless erosion. Here, nature's forces don't just visit, they linger, shaping the very land and threatening everything built upon it. The coastline is constantly under siege and the battle is only intensifying. Hurricanes and nor'easters both strike here, one with tropical fury, the other with winter's prolonged assault. Each storm brings its own brand of chaos, but together they create a cycle of destruction that's hard to escape. Nor'easters, like the 2026 bomb cyclone, linger for days, giving waves time to grind away the coast. Unlike hurricanes, which strike fast and hard, nor'easters wear down the shoreline slowly, their impact stretching over long, punishing hours. Each storm chips at the dunes, weakening the natural defenses. The sand that once protected homes and roads is swept away, exposing roots and leaving the land more vulnerable with every passing season. With storms coming more often, the coast can't recover. The wall is broken down faster than it can rebuild. The land is left raw and exposed, unable to heal before the next assault arrives. This creates a feedback loop. One storm removes sand, the next causes more damage. The cycle repeats, each event compounding the losses of the last, making recovery nearly impossible. The houses lost in 2026 were made vulnerable by years of cumulative storms. What seems like sudden destruction is really the result of a slow, relentless process that's been unfolding for decades. Each event brought the ocean closer, until the final blow arrived. The sea crept in, foot by foot, until the foundations gave way and homes toppled into the surf. It's this 1-2 punch, immediate fury and long-term degradation, that's so catastrophic. The Outer Banks are battered by both the sudden violence of storms and the slow, grinding loss of land. The coast is losing its battle, one storm at a time. Unless something changes, the relentless advance of the ocean will continue, reshaping the Outer Banks and erasing what once stood strong. Every collapsing house is a story of human loss, homes, memories, and investments washed away. Many were family retreats for generations. Their loss is deeply emotional and financial. The economic impact ripples outward. Fewer rentals, fewer tourists, and a damaged reputation for the region. Anxiety grips the community. Dozens of homes teeter on the edge, owners facing impossible choices and constant dread. Local governments are strained, forced to manage cleanup and crisis with limited resources. The human cost is a web of grief, instability, and stress. Here, people are on the front lines of climate change, facing losses both personal and profound. When a house collapses into the ocean, it's an environmental disaster. Toxic debris, treated wood, insulation, wiring, and sewage spills into the sensitive marine ecosystem. Debris spreads for miles, endangering wildlife and beachgoers. Sea turtles and shorebirds are especially vulnerable, their habitats destroyed or contaminated. Fish and marine life are exposed to pollutants from household chemicals and septic waste. Erosion also destroys dunes and narrows beaches, erasing vital habitats. The ecosystem faces a double threat: gradual habitat loss and sudden pollution. The collapse of homes is a blow to both nature and community. Cleaning up after a house collapse is dangerous, expensive, and never complete. Debris scatters for miles within hours, turning cleanup into a race against the tide. Workers face sharp debris, unstable footing, and hazardous surf, often using heavy machinery on fragile beaches. The financial burden falls on homeowners, the park service, or taxpayers. Each cleanup can cost hundreds of thousands. Not all debris can be recovered. Fragments become a permanent hazard to wildlife and people. Cleanup is a costly, imperfect response to a larger problem. The true cost of building here extends far beyond construction. Every collapse leaves a lasting mark on the land and community. The February 2026 storm forces the Outer Banks to confront hard choices. Rebuilding in vulnerable areas is no longer sustainable. The community stands at a crossroads. Managed retreat, relocating or demolishing at-risk homes, offers safety and environmental protection, but is emotionally and politically fraught. Beach nourishment can buy time, but it's costly and temporary. The sand always washes away. The future will require a mix of strategies, tough conversations, and respect for nature's power. New building codes and zoning must reflect the reality of erosion and sea level rise. The Outer Banks story is a lesson for all coasts. We cannot conquer the ocean. We must learn to live with its power, its beauty, and its constant change. Adaptation is not optional. It's our only path forward.